As I stood there in the middle of the desert, no water, no food, and I started to hallucinate, I looked death in the eyes and I said to myself, was this all worth it? Over the next few weeks, I will explain what the hero's journey is, how it can help you understand your story, heal yourself, and help you discover your life's purpose. Through telling my own story, how I walked across America and almost died doing so, it will give you a better insight into your own story and how even the darkest moments were actually for a reason. Your story follows a certain structure. There are many different versions of the hero's journey, but I have created my own version that seems to match real life decently well. This version can be changed and mixed up to match your story, and these subsections can take place in different moments within your story, but the basic structure of the framework is pretty accurate for any story to be told. There are 3 worlds that we move through in any story arc. We have the known world, which is the world that you're living in now. We have the unknown world, and then we have the underworld. We have the call to adventure. This is within the real world. Within this world, we have the leap of faith, and we have meeting mentors and allies. But these meeting mentors and allies can happen at any point or in any phase of your journey. You can always meet a new mentor, you can always meet a new ally, or even meet a new enemy. The approach, which is the second phase of the hero's journey. This takes you from the unknown world into the underworld. Within this phase, we experience the imposter syndrome and we cross the first threshold. The next phase, phase 3, is war. This is where we find our way out of the underworld. We fight our demons. We walk through the gates of hell, where we emerge back into the unknown world, eventually back into the real world. In war, we go through the death of old self. We walk straight into the abyss. We obviously go through battle. We face the dark night of the soul. And we have a rebirth or a resurrection of ourselves. The last phase of the hero's journey is called the return, the hero's return, or the return with the elixir. This is where you ascend back into the real world, where you have your victory and you return back with your elixir. This is the basic structure to almost any story ever told, and understanding this will help you understand and tell your story to heal yourself and also help others who may be looking for a beacon of light through their own darkness. My call to adventure. As I stared death in the face, I wondered, was this all worth it? 10 months earlier, I was sitting on the plane going to California for the very first time. I imagined it would be like everything that I'd ever seen in the movies. Big city, Hollywood sign, celebrities, and of course the Golden Gate Bridge. As I sat there, lost in my imagination, I thought about my favorite movie, Forrest Gump. Out of nowhere, an epiphany flooded my mind, and the visions fast-forwarded me to the future. There I was, walking across America. I thought to myself, if Forrest can do it, so could I. The vision that I had was unlike anything that I had ever experienced before in my life. It wasn't just a vision, but it felt like a memory. I thought, was this a glimpse of the future? My future. I told myself the only way for me to get back home to the East Coast, I was gonna have to walk. And so a movement was born. A walk that would change my life forever. I had no plan, no money, and to be completely honest with you, I knew that it sounded crazy. But for once in my life, I felt like my destiny was written in stone. 10 months from now, I would walk across America. Background. I've always felt like my life was meant for more. I've always felt like I was meant to change the world. After going to college for a year, I knew that my path forward had to be different from the people that I grew up with. I wanted to do something that was worth talking about. I wanted to do something that would change the world. At the time, I struggled with my belief in God, or just a higher power in general. I felt like if God was real, then my life had to have a divine purpose. My life actually meant something. If God wasn't real, then we were all just a random act of nature, flying around the universe on this rotating, floating rock. As Kansas said, all we are is dust in the wind. And so I had to figure this out. I set out on a journey and I had to figure out, were we truly all just dust in the wind? How would I do this though? Would God guide me? Was the world a good place? Would there be a higher power that would lend me a helping hand? Were people worth helping? Was my journey forward meaningless? As I started walking, many people told me in detail of all the ways that I would be murdered, that I would be killed. My brother told me that I needed a gun. I told him no. I felt like if I brought a weapon of death, I would bring the energy into my life that caused me to have to use this weapon. This journey that I was embarking on, it needed no protection. I needed no map. For the answers that I sought were somewhere located in the deserts of America. The gift of fear was given to me by those who cared for me most. You see, fear for my safety that my friends and family had for me, they were real, they were justified. But those fears were their fears and their fears alone. I could not take them as my own fears. My journey forward had no room for the fears of others, for I knew that the answers that I sought were waiting for me somewhere across the deserts of America. The only way for me to find them, I would have to walk. So I started telling everybody, I'm gonna walk across America. I told my mom I was gonna walk across America, and she literally responded with, no, you will not. Everyone called me crazy, and I thought in my own head, I probably am crazy. At first, my words felt empty. My vision felt empty. I wasn't even sure if I believed myself. I had to just keep saying, I'm gonna walk across America. One day while I was living in Montana, I was living on the Flathead Reservation of Polson, Montana. I was visiting the local dentist for pain that I felt in my tooth. While sitting in the front, waiting for the dentist to come and get me, I told the lady at the front desk what my plan was. At this point, I was just telling everyone. She didn't look at me like I was nuts. She asked me, how can I contribute to this walk? How can I keep up with your journey moving forward? The fire that was so dim over the last few weeks of people calling me crazy, of people telling me that I wasn't going to do it, this fire that was so dim was set ablaze. It's funny how the people that are strangers on your journey can be the ones that believe in you the most. In all realness, I understood why the people that were closest to me didn't want me to do this journey. They were scared for my safety. They feared for my life. And I understood this, and the people that were strangers, they didn't have these fears. They just thought it was a cool adventure. But the thing is, some people's destiny, it's written in the stars. And for me, this walk was written in the stars. I thought that I would do this journey alone, but in just a couple months of me telling people I would walk across America, I ended up running into someone who was actually crazy enough to decide to do the journey with me forward. And so a movement was born. A walk across America was born. Appreciate you all for watching all the way through. Over the next couple weeks, I'm going to be talking about the different levels of the hero's journey that we go through, and using my own story of walking across America, I will break down each phase and help you understand on your own journey how you can express your story through using the hero's journey. I'll see you next week, and remember, stay golden.